Hi, I'm Ellie Crystal from crystallinks.com. Today is Friday, July 28th, 2017. 2 years ago, in June, a man came down an escalator with his wife behind him and announced that he was running for president. And everybody laughed, and everybody said, yeah, that's Donald Trump being Donald Trump. And I saw that, I blogged it, and I said, this man's going to become president. I don't know how I knew. There was so many choices in the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, and it really looked like one way or another it was going to be Hillary, and all that happened between then and Election Day. Okay, so Donald Trump, of course, looked like the worst candidate ever, and he probably was, and yet he forged ahead, and yet I kept blogging. Donald Trump is going to win. There's some underlying either a cabal or a group or something even as weird as extraterrestrial intervention here. There's something going on that's putting him in office. And still people said, Ellie, don't be silly. But I still kept going. The only time I thought, he's not going to win. Not that I wanted him to win, don't get me wrong. The only time I thought he wasn't going to win was the whole Billy Bush thing in the bus, where he was talking about touching women in certain ways that are improper and so on and so forth. And at that point in the game, I said, that's really makes him look worse than everything else makes him look. But he seemed to rally, which always told me, okay, Donald Trump has something going on behind the scenes, a diversion, if you will, or something that is going to put this man in office. And surprise, surprise, with all his emotional problems, with all his shtick, Donald Trump won. Now he becomes elected and he starts naming members of his cabinet. And when he did, I kept seeing the word fired, meaning everybody he was starting off with, from the Steve Bannons to Rice Priebus to everybody, shaking hands with this one and that one, and with the exception of Mike Pence, because Mike Pence will go on to become president. But with few exceptions, Donald Trump stayed on, and I saw everybody around him as almost like cartoon characters that the late night shows would make jokes about and really have fun about. And yet I saw Donald Trump persevering, and things got worse. And before he was elected, I did write a blog saying that for some reason, should he lose to Hillary, that was after the Billy Bush touching girls' parts things. After that, I did write a blog saying, even if he loses to Hillary, I still see him in the news every day. Maybe he'll have his own network. I don't know. With all his money, he's going to find a way to stay in the news. But now we segue to, okay, so he appoints all these people to the cabinet. He's inexperienced, people say. The man is inexperienced, give him some time. The man is this, the man is that. He is trying, okay? And those who voted for him, justified what he was doing in whatever way one justifies. Me, I just kept thinking, he is being placed in office because no matter what stupidity presents itself, this is the guy, or maybe it's the timeline, where the truth about everything is going to be revealed. And I've said that. We live in a holographic reality. It's playing itself out. It's bringing in hilarious, ridiculous, and yet detrimental characters to the fore. And yet Donald Trump is the only guy that I could see, the only one who would become president, who would actually step up and say, this is what happened with the alien agenda in the United States, referring to deals made, certain government agencies set up to prevent people, humans, us, the real guys who live here, from coming forward and learning the truth, like we don't know, like we're stupid, like things are not being shown to us all the time. I have felt that presidents, since that whole 1945 thing happened and we move into Truman and Eisenhower and so on, I feel that they They all knew the truth. Some of them wanted to speak the truth. All of them were censored. Okay, fine. But I said, you see, it's not just about aliens. It's really about a president who would come up and say that aliens are intertwined in our reality and our destiny, and that they have, through reverse engineering, we've gone from simple radio and television to where we are today within 80 years, whatever. Let's go back to the World War II and all that's going on there. Our technology just keeps advancing and advancing, and you know that there's something greater that's guiding that. And it's not just these people who are technologically inclined. It is part them, but everything is programmed. So they are getting their concepts, they're getting the products and services they develop through either some consciousness thought that comes through the hologram, or some alien technology, which also comes through the hologram. Okay, but I thought of any president, okay, and it certainly won't be Mike Pence. Donald Trump is the guy that when the time comes, he's going to step up and he is going to say, here's the proof you've all been looking for. I mean, it would give him all and everything that he wants. He wants people, he's got this ego thing, probably going back to childhood, but he has this ego thing where he wants everyone to say he's the greatest and the best and no one can do it better and bigger and all kinds of nonsense things, Psychology 101. Okay, but I felt, and it's not over yet with Trump, but I felt that Donald Trump could be the person who would finally get the information that the world needs to know, because once you understand the alien input into everything, no matter where that takes you, one alien species, many alien species, wherever it goes, whatever your belief systems are, once it moves to that, then we're looking at the going forward into the truth that this is nothing more than an illusion playing out. That I don't see Trump bringing to the fore, because I don't even know that he's smart enough to understand that, or programmed, I should say programmed to get that and bring that out. But there are layers of agendas, okay? There are agendas that go all the way back to the beginning, and there are agendas that are playing out now. Our current agenda leaves my neighborhood with a bit of laughs, because last week, President Trump, it kind of is a little hard to get those words out. President Donald Trump introduced somebody new as his communication director, Anthony Scaramucci. Hey, I live in Bay Ridge, and in Bay Ridge, we're going to have a lot of jokes, okay? And as soon as I saw him, it was the same thing as with Manafort. I'm like, gangsters, we got gangsters. Hey, anybody get that? And of course, my neighborhood had their share of jokes, and we all are making what is going on here? It's just, you got to put on the Italian accent, which could be a little bit of my normal talking, although I'm not really Italian, and I'm not exactly from Bay Ridge. I'm from Manhattan Beach, Brooklyn, but that's besides the point. So now we have Donald Trump trying to get his wall built. He's not getting his wall built. We know that, you know that, I know that, the people know that. Do we need the wall? Should it be solar powered? He suggested solar powered. He's making excuses. Will Mexico pay for it? We don't have enough time to discuss those matters. There's maybe some plans going on behind the scenes, but we're just so overwhelmed now with Donald Trump and his mishigas. Yes, I'm Jewish. Okay, so Donald Trump has his whole Russia scandal thing going on. And that's layers and layers of who said what and who's connected in the Russian mob, and how is Trump connected to everything, all things Russian. And obviously, when people are saying, oh, last week he met Putin for the first time, I wrote, not really. I could see meetings beforehand, business dealings, meetings, all of that, real estate and hotels and everything, and that we're somehow Trump, of course, without showing his taxes, is involved with Russians on some level, which we all know. And now the plot thickens, and it continues to thicken like a porridge. And what's happening, or maybe I should say a minestrone soup. Yeah, okay, let's do neighborhood. Okay, so now we have all kinds of things coming out. Not like I saw way back when I said I see Trump in the news once a week. I thought there'd be a scandal once a week, but this is getting ridiculous. Every single day, you can almost go hour to hour, something new is coming in. This week he decided, just like this, just with a tweet, he just decided, well, no transgenders in the military. Okay, so I looked at that and I'm like, WTF, WTF, and then I'm like, diversion. He is doing everything and anything he can, from demeaning little cute, short, little adorable, his attorney general, whose name escapes me right now. He's doing everything to undermine him, to undermine everything and anybody. Every single thing he's doing is a diversion. Now, there's diversions around what went on between him and the Russians and Russian hacking and interference in our election last year. Okay, that's cool. Then there are other diversions behind the diversions. So you have to be able to go knee deep into everything. The way I see it, things are so bad with the higher up people in the White House, senior officials, I guess you call them, that I go back to my original statement of last year when he won, and I said, everyone's going to get fired. Like we all hate Steve Bannon and we all hate all these other people. They're all going to get fired. But some of the things that he does throw us for a loop, like hiring almost gangster-looking personality, cursing to the New Yorker magazine person named the Mooch, okay? Tony Scaramucci, okay? Could come right out of my neighborhood, but I know he comes from New York, but I don't think this part of New York. Okay, fine. Yes, the jokes are going on, and even people of Italian background, even the ones I know who are of the mafia persuasion, they're all laughing. Everybody thinks that Trump and associates, should we call them, are a laughing stock. What he's actually doing is he's causing his own demise. It's like, when they say when someone has mental illness, everything they do is self-sabotage. Well, that's what I feel. I feel that he is self-sabotaging, but not just his life, the lives of his family, friends, if he has any, associates, and of course the whole nation, and perhaps the whole world. I mean, he keeps saying, let's get this Russian thing out of the way. Let's get it out of the way so we can deal with the more pressing issues. Okay, so he wanted to repeal at any cost, because his ego would say, check one off on my to-do list, Obamacare. Let's get rid of Obamacare. So early this morning, the Senate had met and everybody was waiting to see what happened, and it's all over the news today. And the headlines read, GOP Obamacare repeal bill fails in dramatic late night vote. And then I started doing some more articles, posting some more articles, and watching the news. And there, as if somebody said, you may have a brain tumor, you may be, not having a lot of years left or in the Senate, there was John McCain, speaking his mind last night on the news, and speaking his mind after the Senate, and voting nay. And no, this bill doesn't make sense. This bill needs to be done away with, and we need to have a committee. We need a bipartisan committee so that both the Democrats and the Republicans, and governors included, if you will, all come in and they all talk about what they need, what they want, what should be happening, what is in the best interest of the people. I mean, just because Trump has a lot of money, God forbid something happened to his children, and they're kind of suffering through all of this also, but talking about Donald Trump and Ivanka's another story. It's the truth about everything is coming out, okay? It is going somewhere, and it's like they say, the snowball from hell. It's rolling down, and it's just, you stop and you think and you pause, why is this happening? I'm not saying we had the greatest choices for president. To be totally honest with you, when I go back to 2 years ago, the only one I really liked, I liked Bernie somewhat, but Bernie wasn't practical and I felt too old. But the only one I thought really made the most sense was Kasich. I mean, he was political. He knew what he wanted. He knew, he had agendas. I thought he would have been the best choice. But that was then, and things wouldn't have wound up with Anthony Scaramucci. I keep hearing in my head that song, Scaramouche, Scaramouche, da 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 da. And it's like that song, every time I hear his name, it replays in my head. Every time I see him, I feel like I'm going across the street to my local establishment where the guys who were in the Sopranos, they used to come here, they used to hang out, and a few of them lived in the neighborhood. It's like, really, seriously? I mean, there have been presidents that it was mentioned had certain contacts and connections, like JFK was supposed to know a man who knows a man, whatever, but this is absolutely, totally ridiculous. So here we are without health care. Then we have Donald Trump waiting for Congress to go on a vacation because at that time he wants to get rid of his attorney general, to put in a new attorney general, one that would not recuse himself, and one that will get rid of Robert Mueller, the guy who's investigating his connections with the Germans and wrong war, Russians, although we were all in the war together. It's like we're just playing out the same scenario, just different characters, that's it. So the deal is, what is Trump going to do next? That's what we should call this year. What is Trump going to do next? And then you have the Hillary thing too. I forgot to mention that it has been in the news this week that Hillary has a book out about her thoughts on what happened in last year's election. And I think it's simply called, with no great graphic on the front page, What Happened? I guess you could say that about Obama when she ran against Obama. What happened? She wasn't put in play. Whoever is running this hologram or the cabal, so I don't care who's running what, she's not the character who's supposed to be in play to carry the ball across the line. It's just not her, and it never was. So she can sit back there and look at everything, all things going on with Donald Trump, and go, oh my God, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at the characters he's bringing in. I mean, this is a disaster. But, she's going to have her book out. Of course, she's going to make money, don't you know? Everything behind everything is about money. Yesterday, the news was out there that Anthony Scaramucci is worth, I think, $85 million. And he got pissed that somebody leaked that. But you can find that information out anywhere. So it's not a big deal. I think someone from the Daily Beast put it out, and he gets mad at everybody. And when he starts explaining himself, the way he does it is like really just out of the street gangs in the neighborhood. Seriously, I mean, who would believe this now? It's very hard for me to believe. But this is just the way it is on this date. We'll wait and see what's going to happen with Hillary. Of course, she's going to make $1 gazillion with her book. Naturally, the Clintons are about money. Everybody's about money. The Trumps are about money. Scaramucci's about money. The world is about money. And yet, what is the real value of money? Stop and think about that. Is it paper, tangible? Is it just some numbers in a computer now? What is money? What is it worth? What is a life worth with health care? What is a presidency worth that we have this ridiculous guy in office? And so humanity was created on conspiracies and lies. That was the formula. That was the algorithm. It's all conspiracies and lies. It was like that from the beginning. It carried through from, say, it started in the Middle East into Europe and all across into the Americas and everywhere, pretty much. And this is how it's going to end. I mean, I do see that this reality is coming to a head, to a conclusion. And it really is, I think that's why Trump is in play. I hope that I am right. I hope that somehow, through someone, Donald Trump will be the guy who's not going to sit on the information about the aliens and how they influence our lives, our government, everything that's going on, all the biogenetic experiments, all and everything. I hope that Donald Trump is the guy who just steps up there, because that would be worth all this nonsense that we go through day after day analytically. So let us hope, let us pray, you and I, that, well, not too many months from now, the truth will prevail. Donald Trump will have his statement. He will maybe make his mark in history as probably the most ridiculous president, and yet the one who brought or started the domino effect of bringing the truth out. That we live in a hologram. It's created with conspiracies and lies. It's duality. It's polarity. It's all that stuff. It's looking for balance. It's whatever. You've read it all. So this is it. So I just hope that the truth will out. Thank you.